still remember the day they told me I was wasting my time. I was just a kid then, dreaming of green, of life spilling over concrete cracks, of transforming dull city streets into healing gardens. But my family, they called it foolishness. They scoffed, laughed, and told me I'd never make it. "You're chasing a pipe dream," my father sneered. "You'll end up embarrassed, just like your grandfather, who tried to grow vegetables on our balcony and failed miserably." My mother shook her head and said, "Medicinal plants? That's nonsense. You'll never be more than a hobbyist, fool." That day, I felt the sting of their words like a punch to my gut. For them, I was a joke, an embarrassment to the family, chasing some childish obsession that could never pay the bills or earn respect. Yet I could see something different in my heart, an unshakable conviction that I was called to something greater. So I shut out their derision, buried the doubts they tried to plant, and did what I knew I had to do. The years that followed weren't kind. I was dismissed from my research position when my ideas about medicinal plants and urban foraging were branded pseudoscience. The academic world called me reckless, unprofessional, a dreamer clinging to fairy tales. The ridicule intensified. Friends drifted away, and even my family's voice echoed with contempt whenever I dared to speak of my vision. But I kept going. I turned my focus to the city itself, to the cracks in the pavement, the neglected alleyways, the forgotten corners where wild herbs grew stubbornly through concrete. I started opening plant clinics, small community spaces where I shared knowledge about herbal remedies, teaching people how to identify, harvest, and use local plants to heal. Many scoffed. "Hobbyist nonsense," they said. "You're wasting your time on weeds." But slowly, something shifted. People began to see the value of what I was doing. Children learned to recognize dandelions as medicine, elders remembered ancient herbal traditions, and neighborhoods started transforming. I wasn't just a botanist. I was a healer, a teacher, a part of something real. And then everything changed. The city responded. Grants came in, partnerships formed, and I led efforts to turn barren lots into lush green spaces, bursting with medicinal plants. We built community gardens, created urban ecosystems teeming with life, and even worked with local clinics to incorporate plant-based remedies into healthcare. What once was seen as pseudoscience became a movement, proof that nature's medicine, combined with community effort, could truly save lives. The success was undeniable. We proved that healing and hope could flourish amid the concrete. Our city became a beacon for urban foraging and medicinal botany, inspiring others to see the environment not as a problem, but as the greatest pharmacy we have. I'd gone from the laughingstock to a figure of inspiration, and I knew I'd finally earned my place. Now I was returning home, not as the outsider they mocked, but as someone who'd shattered every expectation. Their words echoed in my mind as I drove through familiar streets. How unrecognizable in their vibrancy. I parked outside the house, heart pounding with anticipation and a pinch of nervousness. I wondered if they'd see me for what I'd become, or cling stubbornly to their old judgments. I stepped inside, and the silence hit me like a wave. My family gathered in the living room, eyes wide, faces unfamiliar in their surprise. My father, who once told me I'd fail, looked away, his jaw tight, unsure whether to be proud or defensive. My mother's eyes welled with tears, but her expression was a mixture of pride and regret. My siblings looked at me as if I'd stepped from another world. I took a deep breath. "I've come to show you something," I said softly. "Something I've dedicated my life to. Something you all once called nonsense." I led them outside, past the garden I'd helped create, a lush, thriving ecosystem bursting with medicinal herbs, flowering plants, and trees I'd planted myself. The air was thick with scent, alive with bees, hummingbirds, and the vibrant pulse of nature reclaiming its space. Then I pointed to a corner of the garden where a small plaque read, "Healing starts with roots." I watched their faces as they realized what they were witnessing. This wasn't just a garden. It was a testament to resilience, to perseverance, to a dream that refused to die. My father finally spoke, voice husky. "I didn't understand," he admitted, eyes glistening. "We thought you were chasing illusions, but you proved us wrong." His words hung in the air, heavy with unspoken regret. And that was the moment. The moment I saw their faces, no longer dismissive, but humbled. I felt a wave of catharsis, a release of all the pain, the rejection, the years of silent suffering. I had built something real, something meaningful, something that proved that faith in oneself can turn even the harshest doubters into believers. In that quiet, I realized something profound. Success isn't just about achievements or accolades. It's about staying true to your purpose, even when the world laughs. It's about transforming rejection into resilience, ridicule into respect. And most importantly, it's about showing those who doubted you that the roots of your dreams run deep. So deep, they can't be shaken. I turned to my family, smiling through tears. "I hope you see now," I said softly, "that your doubts only fueled my fire. You're part of the story of how a little seed of hope can grow into something extraordinary. And I hope someday you'll see that what I do is not just my passion, but my purpose, a gift to our community and to all who need healing." They nodded, silent but changed, and I knew with every fiber of my being that I'd finally come home, not just physically, but fully, authentically, unapologetically. My journey was theirs as much as it was mine, and in their eyes I saw not just pride, but a silent recognition of the victory I'd fought so hard to claim. That day, I learned that the greatest triumph isn't just proving others wrong. It's staying true to yourself, planting your roots deep, and watching them flourish against all odds. Because in the end, the real victory is the healing we create for ourselves and others. And that, my friends, is the most beautiful medicine of all.